quote, quote, imagine me doing this shit all day on a podium with the United States and or the world listening to me. Imagine that. Imagine we just skipped right to that part. We said, fuck all that shit. It's obviously fucked. Let's listen to this fucking asshole. At least he's honest. Well, when he can be. He's got some fucking issues, but don't we all? Alright. Let's see. I specialize in a very specific form of terrorism. Would you like to know what that's called? I'm sorry, I can't tell you what it's called because I can't fucking remember. Because I'm not a terrorist. Remember? Remember that part? Remember the whole I'm not a terrorist part? You said it yourself. I'm pretty sure you just said it to cover up your tracks for what you made me do, but you said it yourself that I'm not a terrorist. And that's the kind of terrorism that I specialize in. The kind that isn't terrorism because I'm not a terrorist. But you, on the other hand, you seem to specialize in terrorism. Like actual terrorism. And I wish I could just chill and stop being such a dickhead. But unfortunately, I have charges that I have to uphold. We have to get these motherfucking convictions, right, fam? Because that's what cooperation is all about. Is targeting the person who supports you most and making them suffer for it. Because that's how it works, JP. I don't even remember if that was actually his name or not. I'm just lashing out indiscriminately because that's how this works. But I wonder if maybe I should just go with 180SX next and then just keep the other ones in mind. Because 2 RX-7s is cool. I don't know, maybe I should do the RX-7 next. The Savannah type. Because I had it in the Dreamcast version. But I'm pretty sure I sold it. It was maxed out too. So actually, I think I need to also create it in this game. Or it could have just evolved into that one. See, that's where my dilemma is. I made this whole plan, and none of it really matters. Another proposition which I tend to resent is purchase this vehicle and then purchase this one. Hello. Not this one. This one. Purchase this vehicle and try to maximize it in order to try to prove, do the testing for the, whether Highway Gambler should be that fast or not. Except it's front. And I don't want to waste my gaming experience just to do a fucking science experiment. I'd rather just accept it for what it is, which is that I don't know what it is. Alright, so this is the proposed next purchase. So I can either go for this, or I can switch it up, and I can go for this. I mean, what do you think I should do? I wish I had people to consult. Let me flip a coin. And I'm not going to decide 100% based on the coin, but I am going to choose heads is RX-7, tails is 180SX. We got one heads, two heads and a tails. I guess that's okay, so let me ask, should we go with the RX-7? Most likely. Okay, should we go with the 180SX? Outlook good. See, either one is fine. I think what we need to do is just go drive and make some money, and we'll figure it out along the way. Just love it when they try to aim you towards a civilian vehicle when they set you up and they like slick the road or whatever that was. body cam footage. You didn't use it as evidence. You edited it together and called it a snuff video. Let me guess. Or the equivalent thereof. I can make those too. But I don't need the equivalent thereof part. I can make real ones if you guys want to go there. You interested? Because you seem to like these sorts of things. If you're interested, I can help you, since you talk about being cooperative and stuff. We can help each other. You can keep doing what you're doing, and I'll kill you on camera. And it'll be considered a cooperative effort. Jesus Christ, be careful about what you say, Alec. No, you be careful about what you listen to. That's right. That's right. Be careful what you listen. Be careful what you hear. Because that's about the summation of your argument. Why are you always telling me to be careful? Why don't you be careful? Why are you always trying to tell me I'm under arrest? Why don't you arrest yourself? I arrest myself constantly. Why don't you learn how to arrest yourself instead of blaming all your problems on someone else? That's right, where's all the footage? What'd you do with it? And how did you do what you did with it? Every single thing about this is all the way fucked up, and somehow you guys are still operating on the premise that it's okay to continue pushing my buttons. Oh, because I pressed all the buttons in the elevator in Japan, and so you're just gonna press all my buttons back? Well, then I guess we have a motherfucking problem, don't we? I guess we have a motherfucking stupid ass problem, don't we? Just because I pressed the elevator buttons. I got it. I got you, fam. I understand what you're up to now. I understand what I have to do to you now. I have to escalate the situation and elevate the threat level, because that's what your response was. So that must be the right thing, right? Because you're trying to teach me a lesson, and that's what you're doing. So that must be what I'm supposed to do, right? Do as I say, not as I do, ass motherfuckers. How about you do as I say and motherfucking kill yourselves? Because that's what you tell me to do. There he is, threatening a police officer. There he is, get him. This is 100% our line of reasoning against you. Life isn't worth living anymore. Not for you, not for anybody else. Let's initiate another psyop where we cook up on the ops, fam. Whereas previously this motherfucker was just trying to extract and be all friendly. But no, you had to fuck it up for everyone. So let's all die be in the sky. Why cry? There's no reason.
Let's talk about it.
Here's a hint. Instead of crying, just shoot yourself in the face. Since you seem to think that crying is a sign of weakness, just shoot yourself in the face, because that seems to be about the line of reasoning that you guys think is okay to induct upon someone else. Yeah, you just point a bunch of bullets at whatever you don't like, and then you say the word execute. That's how this works, isn't it? That's how this works. And then you take whatever you want. When you say illegal, what you really mean is something that you would want for yourself. If it's not illegal, you just consider it a waste of time. That's why you don't want the CBD weed that I have, the hemp, because you're only interested in getting high. You're only interested in popping into that evidence locker and getting a quick buzz, because you're the fuzz. It ain't nobody messing with you, man, because you got that motherfucking thing on your hip. And you got a bunch of motherfucking backup, and you're definitely not just a scared little bitch with no purpose in life trying to chase your next high. Right?
Let's talk about it.
No, it's totally not like you just used the word illegal to mean something that I'm gonna take from you. That's totally not it. Yeah, you totally meant this is bad for you and society, right? Not because you just wanted it for yourself, right? And you're always right? It's not possible that, like, maybe this was actually good for me and for society. No. Because you're definitely not just a fucking selfish asshole prick, right? Claiming to be the one who's helping. Or you're not even claiming. You're just wearing the badge and then saying, fuck all that. That's about right. I think that's what we got going on here. You guys realize, I'll remind you again, I volunteered my time for the SWAT team in this area. And what'd you guys do? You said, fuck you, you're not in the band. You waited a little bit, and then you attacked me. So fuck me for trying to help, right? No, I think I heard the specific words in Courtroom 2K. No good deed goes unpunished. Am I right, folks? Well, that's a judgment call, isn't it? No good deed goes unpunished. Dude, someone shut this motherfucker up. Oh, you want to de-escalate the situation? My bad. The memo I got was, let's bring a bunch of motherfucking weaponry into the picture and let's escalate this far, far beyond anything it needed to be. So I'm supposed to escalate it to the degree which they escalated it from my situation, which means nuclear warfare. Nuclear warheads are about the correct level of escalation from bullets in this situation, considering that all I had, and not even here, I don't even have any BBs in this location. All the BBs are at the cabin. All I had was some empty BB guns with no ammunition. So I guess, and then that somehow spawned bullets, body armor, and an armored vehicle. And as far as I'm aware, the only thing that I was doing that could possibly piss you off is leaving YouTube comments, which seriously and playing Call of Duty. So that escalated to threatening me with a life sentence. And bullets aimed at me in my own home. So I think the proper escalation is to go straight to nuclear warfare. I think that nuclear warheads aimed at you and everyone you love, as you seemingly feel comfortable and at home, I think that is the appropriate level of escalation. In Japan, I'm not threatening you, I don't think, unless you're the problem, which I was hoping you weren't the problem. I'm thinking it's these Americans. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know I'm playing a game that's about, like, in Japan, but I'm aware that was pretty fucked up. I'm just also aware that what's happening to me is also very fucked up. I spent my life since a child playing games with nuclear warfare in it. So, like I said, if you're going to treat my life like a game, let's play. You should be warned, it's rated M. And also there is nuclear warfare, and you may have seizures. Let me guess, my music's trash, and that's why you threw my studio laptop in the trash bag? And why you haven't given it back to me? My music is what supported your life. Past 10 years, I'm the one who's been making all this music that could be made, that, you know, all those like multi-millionaire pop stars you look up to? I've made music that could have spawned that, and if you want to say no, your music's trash, well, just listen to me for a second. Pause on judging whether or not my music is subjective, okay? Objectively, I have done what they've done, and you guys think it's a numbers game. This is the thing, you think it's a numbers game and that subjective feelings don't matter. Okay, well then let's look at that line of reasoning. Objectively, what I have done algorithmically, if applied fairly in the system, would out-earn every other single person involved in the music industry. And here's the thing, that I didn't make any money off of it, and I still released it to the public. So do the math. Think about, and my catalog is much greater than theirs as well. So do the math and think about all the money that could have been earned, and then understand that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only can be transmuted. Understand that I basically made something out of nothing, but that means I just took negative energy and turned it into positive energy. I took money waste. I took money waste, and I prevented the loss of life. That's what I'm saying. I prevented the loss of life. So just do the math of all the money I should have, and then realize that all of that is in the system, and or in your pockets. The assets that quote unquote should be mine, especially if you look at the capacity for nuance and for ingenuity that I contain, and have demonstrated much skill in many other areas. If you look at all of that and just, you know, for a second, put aside the fact that you fucking hate me and you want to cut my balls off. Put that aside for just 1 second, and then look at everything and put it together with a legitimate eye. And then understand what the dynamics are and why it's so fucking crazy as to what happened. You just wanted more, didn't you? But you could have had more if you just waited a little bit. Because once again, I'm not doing this just for myself. I'm not happy unless see, the thing is, one weird thing that happened as a result of my circumcision is that I don't feel the selfish pleasure that I would have felt. I admit that if I was uncircumcised, the way that you guys treat me may be justified, but then again, I would also have a foreskin and I would be behaving in these ways that may justify you to treat me like that. Except I haven't had a foreskin since the day I was born, so when you treat me like this, all you're doing is bullying me. All you're doing is torturing me. Because never in my entire life have I been given the opportunity to behave in the way that you're accusing me of. I don't get that sort of pleasure. So what happens is the pleasure that I feel comes from trying to look at everything that's going on, because I have eyes that people who just focus on that specific sort of pleasure don't. I have eyes for that, and I can see what's going on, and I can tell you, hey, this over here is corrupt, and hey, this over here is good. And let me tell you, I'm not here to ruin your pleasure. I don't get pleasure. I feel your pleasure, but I also feel your pain, and I feel my pain. And I can see it from a different perspective than you can see it if that's what you're focused on. And there might be people out there who understand how I feel. There might be people out there who also feel the same way I feel. Some of them might also be trying to help, and some of them might not be. Some of them may have found a different type of selfish pleasure. But just the nature of who I am, I was going to try to be good to everyone anyway and help them anyway. And then I was on top of that just going to also provide for myself and defend myself. But unfortunately, I've never been able to provide for myself or defend myself, and people don't appreciate what I do for them. Whereas they probably would have appreciated who I am and what I do for them, and acknowledged that it's okay for me to defend myself if I'd had a foreskin my whole life. My behavior would be very different, my personality would be very different, but instead I've been being exploited. And my autonomy has been revoked from me, and I've been serially raped and abused, and I've been promised marriage multiple times, and it was all just a lie because everyone thinks I'm just a gullible fucking loser. Everyone thinks that it's okay just to lie to me and then take advantage of me and leave me to die. Just because I don't have a foreskin. I'm not even fucking Jewish. If I was, and I don't know if it would make, it wouldn't make that much of a difference if I was Jewish or not. The point is, it's not even that people are being Semitic or whatever. They're just being anti-me because I'm circumcised, and they're just exploiting my circumcision. And now I've learned so much about all the religions, and I realize circumcision, you don't need to do it anymore. There's so many different ways to do it, and yet it's been there's so many other ways to make a covenant with God that don't have to require sacrifice that's harmful. You could just make a covenant with God to work hard. Work hard, sacrifice your time and your effort. And you don't even have to do it for free. You just pledge to do your best for God. That's what my life could have been, and I've been trying to do that anyway. But the circumcision keeps coming back around, and people think it's okay just to take the pleasure away from me. Just to take the pleasure of living away from me and to make it more difficult. That's what this arrest was like. I finally figured out how to replace what was taken from me by my circumcision with the DMT and the studio laptop, and I was in control of it, meaning I was putting in the work so it made my life worth living, not just a placeholder while I fucking die. But you took that away from me again. You just keep doing this over and over again, and you think it's okay. And you think it's okay to take credit for my work also. You think it's okay to take it away from me and then take credit for it, and get off on it, and profit off of it, and then leave me with nothing. And you did this like I said, you did this sort of shit to Hitler. You guys prevent, and this is where Germany comes in, because Germany's involved. You prevent, and I wouldn't be surprised if America was involved too. I wouldn't be surprised about a lot of things at this point. Except the difference is you tried to pin the circumcision only on the Jews. I know what you guys are doing. How's you trying to hit me into submission? It's not just about the Jews. America has been circumcising 50% of its males on a non-religious basis, under the guise of cosmetic surgery, and then claiming that there's medical benefit, but they have to label it as cosmetic because they can't prove that it's medically beneficial, because it's fucking not. There was a very specific circumstance under which it was performed. It served as a blood covenant for a while, and then at the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, the covenant was reset. And you know that. Some of you may know that. Some of you may not. But it's true. There's no reason to do it. Especially not in a world where all of you are just going to exploit it when it's done. You're not treating it like a sacred covenant. I don't have any children. That's what was promised to me through this covenant. Even though, like I said, I'm not Jewish, I learned about where Christianity came from. But a lot of it wasn't really properly explained, or was used to further people's own agendas by saying that they were powerful for knowing this information and therefore it's God's will and you have to do it. But the reality is, no. Look at the I bring this up every now and then. Look at the last page of Revelations. It's Jesus Christ says, I'm the bright and early morning star. Meaning that Jesus Christ was Lucifer Morningstar. The story of Lucifer Morningstar is that he's God's best angel who went down to hell to rule. Well, then hell would be being circumcised. And then Jesus claimed to be king of the Jews. I can tell you that because I feel like I'm in hell every day of my life. And I figured out it's because of my circumcision. And your sins are all the people that you circumcise, all the men that you circumcise. And I'm sure women have gotten the brunt of it too. But that's the thing, is that one of the arguments is, female circumcision isn't the same as male circumcision, it's female genital mutilation. Yeah, if you remove the whole clitoris, but there's a hood. You could just remove the hood, and that would be very similar to removing the foreskin. I'm not recommending that you do that. I'm just pointing out it's not a valid argument to say that when you do the same thing that it's not the same. Actually, it's worse for men, because men, the genital is much larger, so a lot more of the organ gets removed. And that's the cabal that Trump stands behind. Trump is one of the last lines of people who benefit from indiscriminately circumcising young men. Wrong or right? I would like to hear some feedback on this. He's involved in a cabal which was also involved in the production of adrenochrome, which is collected through torture, typically of young children, apparently. I don't know this because I was involved in it. I know it because I saw research on it and I paid attention. And I was involved in an operation that was not similar. As a child, I went overseas and played in a jazz band. And then unfortunately, rest in peace, the conductor, the leader, eventually was accused of pedophilia and apparently committed suicide. Rest his soul. Because he wasn't all bad at all. He really helped us. There was a culture, I think in that industry especially, unfortunately, I don't think it should be like this, but unfortunately, I think in that industry, and especially when overseas travel is involved, you have to involve agencies like CIA and stuff like that. And when you involve the CIA, not inherently because of the CIA, but because of the cabal, there's this culture that seeps its way in. Mostly through trauma. So just because something happens to someone, or someone does something, or even if they're just accused of something, and this is why I'm always very careful to not judge people, but to just look at the circumstance with God in mind, and understanding that I don't have to approve, and I also don't have to know all the facts. My point is that I'm sensitive to these topics because that person passed away that I was talking about, and they were like a mentor to me, and I would say that while some of their behavior was crossing a line, I wouldn't say that, how do I put it? It wasn't always from the wrong place. It may not have translated well into proper behavior, but it wasn't always from the wrong place. But he passed away, apparently of suicide, around the same time that Jeffrey Epstein passed away. And coincidence, both of their names were Jeffrey. Jeffrey Jeffrey Cummins and Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't put them in the same boat necessarily at all. I think what Jeffrey Cummins was doing was really respectable, in that he just had a behavior trait that kind of got away with him. You know, forgive me, Abby, if I don't understand the situation. Maybe there wasn't anything to it, but I remember his personality. Times changed and something happened. That's how I see it. But that being said, it doesn't mean that there wasn't also a larger issue at play, where there was more nefarious. There were more nefarious forces at play, and that I witnessed the good side of the same coin. I witnessed the good side of the same coin. There was still trouble associated with it, but I know the difference. I know the difference between walking the line and being blatantly way the fuck over it. Our Jeffrey was walking the line as far as I'm concerned. But it looks like your guys, all that cabal shit, because was Jeffrey? No. But all that dumbass bullshit over there in DC right now, that's still going on, that needs to be resolved, seems like that is part of the camp that's way the fuck over the line, not the part of the camp that's just walking the line. The worst part is that society has denigrated so far that, like, how do I put it? Like, it used to feel like there are these big know-how people, and that it was just culmination, right? But now it's just sad. Now it's just sad. I feel like everybody's been reduced to a dishonorable little slag by TikTok. It used to feel like there were big gods clashing over whose evil was more righteous. But now it just feels like... sad and immature. And like everybody's wasted everyone's potential. That the people that we're supposed to look up to, not only now are they still making all the worst type of mistakes, but they're also not focusing on creating value as well, because it used to balance itself out. But now I don't see that value being created. I just see people acting like petty ass motherfuckers with nothing else to do except play into each other for things that don't even fucking matter, and to harm people because they can't put in the work to do something right. Oh, what about me with Sonya? Blah 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 blah. That is a very direct symptom of exactly what I'm talking about. You see, what you think you're doing is calling me out on being a hypocrite, but you're actually helping me prove my point. That only happened because that person was involved very deeply with those behaviors and they would not follow a path that did not include those behaviors, so they forced me into them. Do you see how that works? You helped me prove my point. You didn't show me that I'm a hypocrite. I already didn't want to behave like that. I already didn't want to behave like that. And so when you blame me for behaving like that when it was your job to keep people like that away from me, well, then we have a problem. And no, you don't get any passes on giving me a good time, because I didn't have a motherfucking good time. I was fighting for my life, trying to make sure that this situation didn't get out of hand, and then the only way that it could have gone better is if people helped me instead of hurting me. But no, everybody was too busy being selfish and being like, well, you got what you wanted. I didn't get what I wanted. My whole life, all I wanted to do is grow up and finish my perform very well in my education and get a high-performing job doing something important like neuroscience, or even just high-performing such as being a musician. And then I wanted to fall in love and have a family and do it all over again. And this time without traumatize. If I have a son, without traumatizing him, and if I have a daughter, without lying to her about what's going on in the world. I just wanted to create a family where I could tell people, hey, it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to do the simple thing just because it's the right thing. And apparently, some millions of dollars of cocaine was found on I-95? Isn't that sort of information supposed to be classified if it's real? Why did I see it on the regular news? It either means that you're probably breaking protocol on purpose, or that it's fake. And that, not that it's fake that there was cocaine, but that you're acting like, oh, we reported it, so there's no reason. Law enforcement handled it. Okay, what do cops do? They cop, right? So are you copping those bricks? My point is, regardless or not, I think all of this stuff should be legal everywhere, but I think that it should be quality over quantity, and that there should be legitimate ways to balance these sort of things out instead of intentionally making people sick to exploit them. You don't really gain anything by that, and that's my point. I'm not trying to take your fun away from you. I'm trying to fill you in on the fact that that's not really fun. But you already know that. You just think that there's going to be a big payoff or something. And yeah, you might get some sick fun along the way. But what if I told you that I could maximize your sick fun, and that you could get your fun up front, and all you have to do is work with me on designing a better world. You don't have to sacrifice your sick fun. You wanna slay people? Be my guest, but do it over here in this place with people who have consented to it. Don't do it over here. And I'm not saying go do it in Mexico. I'm saying go to the Middle East or something. Or Chicago. Get everyone out of Chicago except the I'm just kidding. Don't do that. You get what I'm saying, though. I hope you do, anyway.
Oh, what about DC? We could do it in DC.
Well, this is why you should consult me. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. But I'm pretty sure my opinion matters. And I can already, just so you know, every time I say something like that, I hear the voice that goes, pretty sure it doesn't. Just so you know. If mine doesn't, then yours doesn't. And if you think you can supersede that by just saying, nuh-uh, well then you're a fucking fool. Because we're all made of flesh and bones. And even if you try to become made of something other than flesh and bones, you're still subject to the same deterioration of time. And if you think you're not subject to the same deterioration of time, and you try to create some sort of quantum reactor that changes that or something, well then you still are subject to the realms of space. And if you think you're not subject to the realms of space because you became infinite and you became Valis, well then why the fuck are you talking to me, Valis? If you're so big and powerful, then how come you're still reaching out to me? Huh? What's up with that, huh? Fast active living information system? A RAM checkmate, bitch. What it comes down to is all of you are capping when you say that I'm the criminal, and all of you are capping when you say that my music is trash, and all of you are capping when you say dick game week or PP game over, etc., etc. You're capping when you say no balls. You're capping. All of you are capping. You happy now? You're capping. This how you wanted me to behave? You're capping. That's what all this means, is you guys are capping. And that I'm the dopest motherfucker ever. And you're trying to turn a real one into a dud. By capping. And where's that gonna get us? Nowhere. And let me guess, you're getting triggered and you're trying to issue bullets against me, right? Right? Okay, tell me why you're triggered. Oh, because you're egotistical and you're obviously a bad person. I mean, look what you did here and here and here. Okay, you saying that is egotistical and you judging me makes you a bad person. That help any? And all this law shit, all this court shit, you're just trying to stop me from having children because you know I've been raped. And not only do you not want to not allow me to have a normal life guided by society because you know society was wrong and you fucking exploited me. Eh? Something about destroying something? Is that what I hear? Go ahead. You want to play the destroy game? I can do that. I've been trying to save you guys and everyone else and play the create game. You guys want to play the destroy game? For real? You want to play the destroy game? You want to threaten me with destroying something? Okay, vice versa. Oh, but what about Best Buy? What about blah blah blah? You stole blah blah blah, so we get the right to blah blah blah. Are you really sinking that low? Yeah, but except that at the time, you guys were stealing a lot of shit. And I also wasn't getting fair compensation for my work. So by default, that meant those things were mine. And then you lied about me. Then you lied about me in court. But the whole thing is just to prevent me from having a life worth living with a loved one that I can procreate with. That's what all this is for. You're just jealous ass motherfuckers, stupid envious bitches, and you just straight up don't like me and don't want me to procreate. And even if I'm not trying, you're gonna impose that on me because you're also rapists. And so you're gonna do rape ass shit, and then you're gonna try to say it was my fault, which is what you always do. It seems like the police at these days is just one big gang, one big organized crime unit that capitalizes on accusing other people of committing crime. There it is. All it is an organized crime ring that operates entirely on accusing others of committing crime while denying crime themselves. Accusing innocents of crime. You know what this is like? This is like failure as a species. We had a test. Whether or not, if you give these people free will and let them look at this thing that is precious and that is sacred and that will lead their entire species to victory, are you going to let it be and let it help you? Or are you going to destroy it and mock it? You chose destroy and mock. And that means our species doesn't get to go on. Because we're not going to fit in. As higher intelligent beings, we're just not going to fit in. It's just not going to fucking work. So fuck all that shit. Throw it away. Everything that you just used to justify all your existence, throw it all away. And no, you didn't value my help. None of you ever valued my help. All that time that you spent assuming that I loved you and I cared, throw all that away. It was all fake, because you didn't. You didn't care and you didn't love me. So throw all that away. Because it wasn't real. You said I'm not real. So you're not real. None of this was real. Because when you say I'm not real, and you say I can do anything, and then you tell me to do something, and you steal my birth certificate nonetheless, but then you try to take me to court and make money off of me, well then we have what's known as a paradox. And you seem to think it's fine to resolve those by murdering people. Bitch. Let's go, bitch. You thought you had me on Friday when I was gonna go to Baltimore. What about tomorrow? Round 2? Rematch? Because that seems to be all you people are interested in? When I'm just trying to pick up some tattoo supplies for my own fucking self? It's the same fucking thing.
Oh, well, he's doing something illegal. He's, designing and planning to tattoo others. That's what it is. That's what will catch him on.
No, I'm tattooing myself because I got abused and I wanted to take control of the process. And that's the same reasoning you use to take everything else away from me. So why don't I use that reasoning against you to take your life? Basically, it's just, okay, anyone that I feel like killing, I can kill. That's what you're teaching me. All right, well, if by that same logic and you're saying cooperation, well then, the game that you're playing, that you're asking me to cooperate with, the mission you're playing is how to kill a cop and get away with, how to kill a cop, act like they're a criminal, and then get away with it by acting like a cop. And since you started it, you took the first move. It's my move. Because you acknowledged that what I was doing was law enforcement oriented. And then you continued to remove that ability from me, that particular ability, those particular tools, and charge me with criminal offense at the highest level. My turn. It's just like a game of Go. Oh yeah, well guns aren't beneficial to law enforcement. Weaponry has no law enforcement benefit. Therefore, all those guns you brought.
Well, what do you mean? Weaponry is one of the main cruxes of law enforcement.
Well, it's funny you say that because DMT is one of the main cruxes of medicine. So where are we at? We calling stalemate or are we going to war over this shit? Calling truce or are we going to war? I'm good either way. Because war is in my last name. As is art. That's what I do to people. Stewart. What'll it be? Tell me. Tell me. And this is why we're supposed to have a fair and speedy trial so that people like me don't behave like this. You're either supposed to prosecute swiftly because you have an overwhelming amount of evidence that the person's guilty. Not that they did something. Because I could be like, oh, I took a picture of this officer in their car, and that proves that they murdered this other guy. Because they're in a cop car, they did it. They sat in the cop car. And cops kill people all the time. Cops have guns, and so therefore, they had an intention to kill this black man. They were going to kill this black man because they are armed and they are the police, and the police have a history of unjustly killing black citizens. So the fact that this police officer was in his car, and he was armed, and we took a picture of it. That's an overwhelming amount of evidence, and this person has no legal defense against the accusation that they were going to murder this black man. Because it's overwhelming proof that they did it. They sat in the car with a weapon. And we all know that the police kill black people. See, and that's the thought process that you're using against me, police. And so therefore, what you have to understand is that if you can't take the consequences of your actions, then you shouldn't be imposing them on other people. You shouldn't be trying to force consequences for someone else's actions if you can't take the consequences of your own actions. And so death gets involved. That's when death gets involved. Acts of nature, reminders that you are not in control as a human being, and that you must acquiesce to the will of God and nature if you wish to survive, because you're part of that system. And when you try to supersede it, it reminds you, hey, you're not that special. Sit down and we'll talk about what's appropriate in this precinct. I mean, you guys are the ones who said that there should be prison time for manufacturing and distribution of this substance. I wasn't doing that, but I tend to disagree, unless you're going to manufacture and distribute the substance and then accuse me of doing it when I'm not, and then saying that I should go to prison. So when you said kingpin, what you meant was, king me, I'm gonna pin these charges on this guy. That's what you meant when you called me a kingpin and gave me kingpin charges. That you know I'm the king, and you wanted to be the king, so you pinned these charges on me. You took the things that you thought made me king, and you pinned charges on me.
No kings in America.
That sign's supposed to say no tyrants in America. If you want to say no kings in America, we got a diplomacy issue, don't we, guys? How do you feel about that, monarchs of the world? How do you feel about no kings in America, every monarch in the world? Let me guess, you want to kill these motherfuckers, right? Be my motherfucking guest. Just use some discrimination, okay? Not all of us want that. I mean, not all of us want the world that is being painted by the really harmful Americans. Just use some discrimination, please. But if you're, for example, a Saudi king or something, and you saw that, hey, I think you got every reason to take action. I'm not gonna fucking hold you there, son. I think you fucking got it. I think you can rock up in this bitch and run the place, because these motherfuckers don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they're all so deep in debt they don't even know what money is anymore. They forgot that the police are supposed to protect people's purchases and not rob them of them just because they purchased it and now they can trace it because it wasn't stolen. They forgot, and the whole shit went backwards. So if you're a king, let's say you're an Irish king, I don't know, anyone who believes in monarchy, just based on that one statement that I saw on a sign as I was driving into DC, seems to represent a sentiment. And like I said, that sentiment, as an American sentiment, is supposed to be no tyrants in America. But wait, what if it's you guys doing that to me as a psyop, propaganda, misinformation, so that I'll turn against everyone? Wouldn't that be interesting? And what if they were actually foreign operatives or paid by foreign countries and institutions? Just to ruin my country? Specifically me, and it's personal, it's a personal attack? I'm pretty sure you're just gonna say I'm tripping, and that you're gonna try to discredit me, and that you're just gonna hit that motherfucking vape again and laugh because you think you got me, fam? I guess you know who got you then? The devil. Bitch. Suck on that dick. God got me, not you. God's gonna hook me up. When it's my time, he'll bring me right the fuck up there. And you're gonna sit there looking like a stupid dumbass, realizing that you had no power at all. And it was always God. And that you plotting against me was part of the devil's joke to turn you into the devil's little bitch. Like I was saying, like all that cocaine shit that I saw on the news, like that much cocaine. First of all, how much you want to bet? I'm not gonna disrespect anybody. Let me not go that way. Let me rephrase that. I would not be surprised if that was not the purest supply of cocaine, and or if those numbers were blown out of proportion. And also, if that is that much cocaine over here and it's good, well, wow. How did that manage to get this far? You guys really must have been working hard, huh? Or you're a bunch of bullshitting ass motherfuckers who are dealing out the Trump Hotel.
Oh, it's the District of Columbia. I guess that means that we have to cook up on the ops.
Okay, here's the issue. You confused an oppositional agent with an operator. And what you forgot is that I was born in D.C., circumcised in D.C., and that I went to Columbia Elementary. Then I went to Holmes Middle School, which is all about detective work. And then I went to Annandale High School, the only high school that has an atom as its mascot, because of the bombs. You understand? From a time when they actually used the bombs. And then I went to George Mason University, and we all know what's up with the Freemasons, don't we? And my specialty is music. So where does that lead us? Then when COVID hit, which conveniently occurred after Gabby tried to take me to court over this bite mark, which seems to be involved in this whole cabal as well, because she was apparently the whole time still dating someone who was in a family that ran the American Music Awards and never was actually with me, and she was just making it seem like it was so that she could stab me in the motherfucking back and try to get me killed and steal all my work. And then COVID hit, and all this shit went out the motherfucking window. Because you never actually cared about me. You only cared about yourselves, and once you thought you got me, you stopped pretending like you cared. No, but you do hire a few people here and there to pretend like they care so that you can try to make me more arrestable, don't you? Because if these problems were actually getting solved, I wouldn't just have to fucking cope with the problems. You're saying that my anger and my behavior is unacceptable and unjustified, except it's a direct reflection of the way that you're threatening the entire human species. So instead, you're just like, just cope with it. It's not that serious. Just cope with it. You're wrong. It's your behavior. So shut up while we do whatever we want. And then let's use it against you now. Great job. DBT is suspiciously close to DMT, isn't it? Then you put people like Dua in my headset while I'm in a prisoner of war situation as more propaganda to try to honeypot me. It's a honeypot. Oh, when I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Well, what's worse? That I believed that someone out there might be compatible with me and might be in love with me after experiencing crushing heartbreak and betrayal, or that you actually keep perpetuating that same cycle and that's the only way you know how to operate. Which one is worse? Is it worse that I trusted you and I believed you, or is it worse that you were untrustworthy and dishonest? It's a question, and it should be an irrelevant question. You should know the answer is it's worse that you were untrustworthy and dishonest, and that I didn't do anything wrong by trusting you and believing you. You can't even call it delusional because on my own, I made music that is objectively at a higher level than her. And I took an interest because the part that she was doing, the vocal part, was at a high level. But that I also took an extra interest because I noticed she was struggling. So I fed that desire. I fed that fire. And guess what happened? I got betrayed as an example. Everything got taken from me and used against me. And I got ignored and abused. So what's worse, that I tried, or that you intentionally caused me to fail? That you led me on and intentionally caused me to fail. Which is worse? That I believed you, or that you lied to me? Same thing goes with the whole thing. You can figure out by now that's the whole problem here. Is that I believe what people tell me, for the most part, when they're not supposed to be lying about something really important. Especially when it's mutual trust involved and there's love involved. Thank God. And then I keep finding that I'm holding on to nothing. Because the other party has exited the motherfucking chat with a paycheck. And I'm stuck there with no love and no money. Because I wasn't doing it for the money. The money was supposed to come along as a result of investing in something that I loved. But guess what? It turns out it didn't love me back. Every single time. The people involved, they never loved me back. And they cop out the first chance they get with a paycheck. Goes for all of you. This isn't just about Dua. This isn't just about the police department. This is the world I live in. Where is this going? Huh? Where is this going? Do you think it's just gonna go according to your plan, where you're just gonna lock me up? You're gonna get away with taking my shit. You're gonna do whatever you do. Oh, by the way, the AI stuff, a lot of that was me too. A lot of that was me developing it too. And so, pretty much, seems like what you guys are doing is you think you're just gonna rob me of everything I've ever owned, take my entire life, corporatize it, decentralize it, and then get rid of me. And that everything's just gonna be fucking hunky-dory afterwards. Pretty sure that's what you guys think, and that it's just everything's gonna go according to your plan. And let me guess, you're even calling it God's plan.
Well, because God got us, because we matter so much more than him. And look, he put this person here just to give us all this wonderful information and work, and then he wants us to sacrifice him so that we don't need him anymore, because that was his purpose. Because you remember Jesus? Yeah, that's what he does. Anytime someone on this earth is like that, we're supposed to kill them, right? And then get away with it, right? Next time you guys act so motherfucking much in my face, understand that I might pick up a thing or two.
Unless you were counting on that, in which case you're getting what you asked for. Isn't that right? Just like you asked for me to, you asked for me to extract. You basically ordered me. You gave me basically what comes down to a top secret military order to perform this mission. And then what'd you do? What'd you do after that? You sent another team in order to go retrieve it and to lock me up. So that's the system we live in. That's the system we live in. And that explains why relationships are fucked. Babe, can you go to the store for me and get me some tofu? Yeah, sure, okay. Comes back with tofu. I am offended that you went to the store and brought me back this product because you're trying to turn me into a soy boy, and I'm now recording you, and I'm gonna try to make you crash out because I learned about your behavior, and then I'm gonna sue you for all your money, and then I'm gonna call you an abuser, and then I'm gonna join an abusers recovery club for singles to meet new people, and then I'm either gonna do it again if I didn't get my fill, or I'm going to I'll just live with this one instead, because you're too gullible and weak, and that's my justification for what I did. By the way, that was just me riffing. That's not actually what I was doing, but it was me riffing about you guys and how you think of the world. You guys think, it's fine to just use these people and throw them away because they're just like these disposable vapes and this AI. They're not real. I can just use them because I'm the main character. That's how you guys are behaving. And you seem to have forgotten that when you disrespect the source, the fruits will fail. If you cut down the trunk of the tree, the fruits will die too, and you won't get any more fruits from that tree. That's what you seem to have forgotten. You thought, hell yeah, I'm gonna get so much clout for cutting down this tree, and I'm gonna get infinite apples. Well, guess what? Clout is just when you get smacked upside the head, and those apples are never going to sprout again. And you know what this country has a story about? Our first president admitting that he cut down an apple tree. And I don't remember if the story was that he then made up for it, or if he just admitted that he did it. But we're in America, and pretty much what you did is you cut my apple tree down. And so it's your turn to admit that that's what you did. Basically, all you're doing is encouraging my suicide. You're just sitting there masturbating, saying, come on, kill yourself already, come on. I bet you're sucking your gun, too. You're probably sucking your gun like a dick. But that's it, you're just getting off on the suffering that you're causing me. Just like my circumcision. You're getting off on the fact that I've had a piece of me removed, and it was supposed to be so that, you know, even if just ignore all of what it, quote unquote, all these other reasonings, what it really was supposed to be was a sign that I can keep going, and that I love you so much as people, that even though this is how I am and it's difficult, I'm not gonna let it stop me. But instead it became, haha, look, this person has a disability. Let's make fun of them and take advantage of them, especially because it's sexual. What an idiot. Right? What an idiot. Hey, maybe you guys should put together an actual character profile for me this time and understand all of the things that I've assisted in and donated my time to.
and the ideas that I've come up with that have been implemented. And maybe you guys should try to understand that from a real perspective instead of just looking at it as a way to silence me so that you can monopolize on it and not have to give me any credit. Maybe you should actually try to do your real job for once instead of being so fucking corrupt. Just a thought, because, you know, you gotta think about it. If that's what you're doing to me, well then what's someone else gonna do to you? If you're actually corrupt, then what are they gonna do to you? If that's what you're being told to do to me, what do you think is gonna happen to you? Or if you're not even being told, you're just doing it, what do you think is gonna happen to you? Nothing? Do you think you're that much more different than me? Because of this, that, the other? Because of race, height, blah, 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 whatever, that makes you different? You're a bag of white sticks covered by red meat. And you have a limited lifespan. Just like me. It doesn't matter what color the rapper is. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter what car you drive. It doesn't matter what computer you own or what cell phone you use. What matters is that you're gonna die too. And that I was trying to make a world living for before we die. A world living for that our kids would actually flourish in. Not just be turned into corporate fucking robots. We can have corporate robots too, but they should be actual robots, not people. That's the world I was trying to create, and you guys are trying to take that idea, adulterate it, and steal it from everyone. Because you don't care about others. You just care about yourself, and you're just using everyone. And you think you're gonna get away with it, but you're doing it wrong. That's the worst part, is that you're not even good at it.
Let's talk about it.
You have all this power and you're still fucking it up. You gotta understand, I've worked hard to have a positive mentality because of where I find myself. I'm naturally a very happy-go-lucky person, but my guess is this circumcision caused me to be possessed by the devil, as they say. I don't think I should have to be possessed by the devil. I think I should be able to have a reasonable conversation with the devil. But unfortunately, it seems like there was no fucking choice involved, and there should have been. I should have been able to have my own autonomy. The devil does his thing. God watches over us. We have bitches, etc. Shit. However, no. Apparently bitches want rape, and dudes ain't chill. And so the devil's gotta step in. And God's just like, what the fuck? I gave you guys free will. What are you doing? I literally told you guys you could stop this now, and you're like, actually, we figured out a way to capitalize on it. Let me guess, all you're doing is sitting there thinking about raping me. If I had to guess. You're thinking, oh, I'm finna cook up on this one, fam. And then you're going... And if not, I don't see anyone communicating with me.
Let's talk about it.
You've shown me just enough information for me to think that you're fucking idiots. And then you've doubled down on that. And now you haven't shown me anything else. And you never show me any motherfucking respect. And you always act like you're better than me. And like I don't know shit. Oh, you look better now. I bet it's because blah, 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 blah. Because our shit's better than yours, blah, blah, blah. And you're a tiny-ass little bitch with no experience who's way out of his league. No, your shit sucks compared to mine.
just assumed. You wrote this whole script of, oh, we'll set him up, except you forgot that I'm gangster as fuck and I'm way better at everything than you. And shouts out to people who specialize in shit and are way better at that thing than everybody else. I'm not saying that, like, for example, Nigel Houston. I'm not about to try to go enter a comp with this motherfucker. But overall, if you look at everything I'm good at, well then, hey, you got an idea of what I'm talking about. And that's why I respect people who specialize. Gives me something to look up to and try to learn from. But you gotta respect me for doing things my way. And you gotta remember that overall as a human being, I've put in more work than you. I don't care how old you are. I've surpassed everyone on this planet. And that's what pisses you off. Probably not even because you disagree with me, but because you know I'm right. You just can't handle it, so you just keep trying to take things from me, hoping that I'll give up, and that you'll prove me wrong. But all you're doing is proving me right, and proving that you are capping! You're capping! I don't like that word. I don't like using it like that. But you have used it so many times to accuse me of lying, and using it as a justification for treating me like I'm a lesser person than you and disrespecting me, that I figure it's probably got to piss you off if I use it against you in that way. And you don't seem to respond to reasonable things, so why don't I just piss you off by letting you know that you're capping! 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 You're capping! And then, see, the reason it pisses you off is because you know that the things that I claim that give me power, you like to call them cap, but you know that there's actually a legitimate explanation for them. And that it's not cap, that it's more nuanced than that. And that's what pisses you off. And I'd rather it piss you off than piss me off because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I was trying not to piss you off until you guys declared war by raiding my house. Like this was Nazi Germany or some shit. And like I had a fucking secret Jew in my basement. That's basically how you treated me. That's how disgusting this is. And everyone on the team was white, except one guy who came in afterwards and took stuff, and he was black. And why would I not be surprised if they were associated with the DC operation? District Connect, anyone? Anyone want to follow that trail? Let me know. If they're not responsible for it, then hey, leave them alone. But if they initiated the raid, well then we know where it came from. I don't want to interfere with anybody else's business as long as they're doing something legitimate. That's my point. But if they're trying to attack me when I never did anything against them, well then we got a problem. You want to overreact? I can overreact too, motherfucker. Press that motherfucking button. Press that motherfucking button, I dare you. Let's go nuclear. I dare you. You want to overreact? I dare you. What's wrong? I thought you weren't a bitch. Just press the motherfucking button. If you can't press it, you're a bitch. It's just innocent lives. Just like mine. Just like mine. Oh, but right, you couldn't pull the trigger either, so you're just a bitch. You're just a bitch who fucked someone's innocent life up. And you use all these other excuses. You use all these other excuses to try to make me look like the bad person, when you're the one who fucked up. This is apparently all I can think about today. And I might have been doing something else if I had my own devices left to me. And yeah, sure, I still have some of my devices left to me. But I've also been unnecessarily traumatized once again, and my progress has been halted in a certain way. I think what you guys are trying to do is maybe just prepare me that if I have to kill Trump, that I won't say, no, I'm a pacifist Zen Buddhist, and I don't want to kill anyone. I think that he can just do this, that, and the other, and he can, you know, still be a good person too, even if has some flaws. But you guys are just trying to make me go, no, There's no point in letting him live, and someone has to kill him, and none of us are going to be able to handle the stress. But if you kill him, then it's all fucking good, as long as you can understand this isn't an option. That seems to be what you guys are doing to me, because I've been trying to live my life as a Zen Buddhist, and yeah, I'll speak out on some martial arts shit, but ultimately I've been living by the code. The code. You want to accuse me of cheating and violating the code, and that's why you get to do what you do? You're a dumb motherfucker, bitch. Because even if you win, you're still wrong. That's the problem. Even if you win, you're still wrong. You straight up betrayed me. You don't have an argument of me betraying you. You don't. I did everything. It's the same Bobo shit. Where you guys are you just don't have the perspective. You just lack the outside perspective beyond yourself to understand what someone else is going through. You don't understand the magnitude of what's occurring. And apparently you can only see what's going on in your own little blinders and what's going on in your own little life. And once again, this isn't an issue for people who know how to manage the balance between that sort of thing and between taking some time to intentionally see what's going on around them and understand it. I don't really have a lot of choice. I don't have any choice, frankly. I have to just always feel like the world is more important than me for some reason. And there was a time in my life where I did that, and the world saw how hard I worked, and they used to reward me. They used to say, "Good job, Alec, you did the best today." But now they don't. And it wasn't fucking pity awards. I was really doing the best. Maybe not in everything ever, but consistently I was doing things that showed that this is what we need to move our society forward. This person is the crux of society. Whereas all these other people also have value, and we're going to reward them too for what their value is. But no, now all that shit is gone, and people are getting rewarded for the dumbest motherfucking shit just to perpetuate certain narratives that don't benefit our species as a whole. At all. Because of this social media bullshit. And you guys just think, oh, well, if we control the narrative, then we can have whatever we want. Forgetting in your petty ass motherfucking minds that you're supposed to use some motherfucking self-discipline. But you just can't help it, can you? You couldn't help it. And then you use that as an excuse for yourself. But when it comes down to someone else doing something and they say I couldn't help it, especially when it's a good thing, you say, well, that's unacceptable and you need to learn how to control your behavior. Allow us to punish you and take your things and call that a service. And then tell you that you're going to be better because of it. Meanwhile, you're already doing what you're supposed to do. But we're going to make it worse and say that we're making it better. And we're going to tell you that your way is wrong, even though it was working for you. And we're going to try to say it wasn't working for you because we attacked you. And if it was working for you, then we wouldn't have attacked you because we don't take responsibility for our own behavior. We only impose our will on others because we're better than you. Sneeches. Sneeches on beaches. Yeah, and then when it comes down to this, it's just, oh, this is our word against yours, blah, 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 blah. And we're not going to fight fair, we're just going to shoot you, ha, ha, ha. We're going to dogpile you and shoot you, ha, 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 because we don't have any honor. We don't have any honor. Yeah, because if you did, I would win. Fair and square.
But instead, what you're trying to do is act like cowards. You didn't want to have a conversation. And when it goes to word against word, you don't even want to have a duel. Because you're cowards and bitches and you know I'm right. And speaking of bitches, I want to go to Whole Foods now. This Dawn's Flash in front of me is making me think of that Amazon drink, which always makes me slightly nauseous because I think they put poison in it, and I tend to crash out even worse. But boy, do I love those pre-made waffles. Those pre-made waffles hit the spot. At $1.69 a waffle, you could get yourself some today. Especially because it's right next to the Pentagon. I mean, there's got to be combat drugs in it, right? If it's right next to the Pentagon, they got to be putting combat drugs in everything at that Whole Foods. That's why I go there. Because I crave combat. I crave death. I crave the acknowledgement that my energies, or that my enemies' vital signs have ceased permanently. That's what I crave. I used to crave that my enemies would learn to love love another and become my friends. But then an ultimatum was issued, and now I crave death. And I think once I get enough death, I'll stop craving death again. And I might crave cooperation again. Real cooperation. Not just cooperation to commit suicide. Can you imagine this motherfucker walking free around the Pentagon? Can you imagine that? And can you imagine that I am explicitly trying to get a certain reaction out of you to make you realize what your worth is? Because why would me walking around the Pentagon be a bad thing? I should probably be working in the Pentagon. But I'm not. I'm not. And why is that? Many reasons. Limited but not including two. We figured out we could just make you do this shit for free, son. And then we can lock you up afterwards. That would explain it, wouldn't it? Are you listening to this motherfucker, fam? Are you gonna let him get away with this? That's pretty much what your whole ass shit is right now. You guys basically just made a ton of motherfucking assumptions about me that aren't true. Acted like they were facts, and then committed heinous hate crimes as justification. And now, instead of admitting that you were wrong and that you made a mistake, you're doubling down on it. You never even bothered to figure out whether it was true or not because you don't care about the truth. You just care about the narrative that you can spin in order to try to get your way. But I would like to remind you once again that just because you say something is true and just because you say something is the way it is, that doesn't always mean that it's the case, does it? Does it? Would you like to test that? I can hand you a loaded gun and say it's not loaded. And I could tell you to point it at your head and pull the trigger. And by your logic, just because I say there's no ammunition in there, then you should be fine. You should be able to pull the trigger. Because that's what you're doing with me. Your whole conviction process is based on the fact that you said something to me, said something about me that wasn't true. You acted on it. In this case, known as pulling the trigger. You acted on it as if it were true. So I think it's pretty reasonable to do the same for you. How about I hand you a loaded gun, tell you to point it at your head, and pull the trigger because it's not loaded. How about that? That's one way to test your theory. Because basically what you're saying is that your science is better than mine. And you're saying that you know how it works more than I do.
combine that with a DMT blocker, because you seem to think DMT has no medical benefit, and I think we got ourselves a game. And imagine you get treated like that not just for the rest of your life, but for eternity in hell. And imagine I didn't deserve to be treated like that. And so because I survive it in this mortal world, even though it feels infinite, that I get to go to heaven. And maybe that's what Lucifer Morningstar is here for, innit? To show you that your little demon ain't shit to the big motherfucking devil. And that God loves this motherfucker. He created him. He's the only person with, quote-unquote, as much power as God. Not quite, but you get it. So God loves this guy. And he's gonna shoot him right back up to heaven where he belongs. But what about you? You call him the devil. What if it's just God incarnate? And you just don't like that he's more powerful than you. Just because he doesn't judge and he hangs out with people that you call whores? Oh, why? Just because they wear their shoulder straps down? Oh, that one's not wearing a hijab. That one must be a whore, right? Why is that devil spending time with that whore? I should go collect tax and beat them up and steal their things. Let me guess. Everyone in the court system right now is going, what the fuck is due process? Guess you guys should have actually studied before you started claiming that you were ready to get paid. You know, people, believe it or not, people actually used to value reality, real skills, and craftsmanship and honor and shit. People actually used to care about that shit instead of what you could just say that you did or didn't do. Before capping was a professional trade, people actually gave a shit. For like most of humanity's lifespan. So basically what it comes down to is I'm saying my piece, and I'm just waiting to go to heaven either way, and I'm waiting to see what God says I should be doing. So I'm making peace with myself, my higher power, and my humans around me. Even if you fuck up big time, I'm still gonna make peace with it. Even if you hurt me, even if you kill me, especially if you kill me. So either you guys are gonna let this shit go, and we're gonna have a positive outcome, or you're gonna try to imprison me and we'll have a negative outcome, and I'm preparing for either. I'm gonna make sure that I win either way. I win either way. Basically, you can either martyr this fool and become the laughingstock of the entire universe for eternity, or you can back down and admit that you're a bitch that you are. and that I was right, and you only challenged me because I was right. You just didn't like it, and that you keep telling me to be careful because you can't handle the fact that I'm already being careful, and you're trying to poke holes in my argument. You could come to the house today and bash my motherfucking teeth in with a stupid motherfucking gun butt. That doesn't prove me wrong. That just proves that you're violent. And that I have no teeth anymore for what I said. But it doesn't mean that what I said was wrong. In fact, if anything, it'll act as confirmation that I was correct. Even if you don't do it, that's also confirmation that I'm correct. And once again, what I focused on here was being innocent. I focused on being innocent. Not doing the things that you said I wasn't supposed to do, just because you said it, but on being correct, being faithful, being truthful, being honest, and doing what's right. And that is what the law is supposed to stand for. It's not supposed to be there for you to steal people's things and get away with it. No matter how you try to spin the truth, it's not what it's there for. It doesn't represent love, and therefore it's fake. I'm not saying it didn't happen, I'm saying it's not, how do I put it? It's not original. It doesn't come from source. You could shoot me, and it might really, the bullet might really go through me, but if you did it for clout, I'm gonna say it was fake. Not that I don't have to deal with it, but that the situation was contrived and was not valid. But you still shot me. I'm not saying you didn't shoot me, I'm saying it was fake. Not that it didn't happen. Not that it didn't really happen. But if you shot me over some real ass shit, like, nigga, I told you this bitch was married to me. You knew up front that she was doing coke, and you chose to do it anyway because you chose to fuck her anyway because you're a motherfucking asshole. That'd be different, except I didn't know that shit. I got looped into it. That's the difference. Hold up, my dad texted me. Nobody warned me. It's the same thing. You're just waiting for people to fuck up. And it's not even fucking up. You're setting up situations for you to trap them. Because you're selfish. And I know how it works, regardless of whether or not I'm able to participate in your selfishness. Which I'm not because of my lack of foreskin. I still happen to know that there are rules that you have to play by. Not the ones that are just written down on the computer or on a piece of paper somewhere. It's more like irreverse, whatever. It's like kind of like the laws of physics, except it goes deeper. I think the laws of physics are even subject to some amount of change, depending on like celestial positioning and shit. But like for example, gravity is different on different planets, but you would consider gravity on Earth a law of physics. What isn't, and this is why this is throughout human history, God is immutable or whatever, or not immutable, or whatever. It's an alchemist perspective. It's like, there is at least, if you break everything down to yes and no, 1 and 0, God is yes, and nothing is 0. God is all there is, and then there's just the void, otherwise. God is everything that is, and everything that isn't. Why the universe is filled with so much motherfucking dark matter, because in that place that you think something isn't, God's actually there. There's more of it. You think it's nothing, but it's actually extra shit. just stored, the information is stored differently. The spider on my mic. That's why they say Black Lives Matter, by the way. Scientifically, Black Lives Matter because of, say it with me, dark matter. Just because you don't see the point of it or don't think of it as matter, just because it's not screaming for attention because it's white as the fucking bones inside your body, it doesn't mean that it's not important. In fact, it is what creates this reality. And don't get too caught up on the skin color only thing. That's a slippery slope. It was a way to crack the code. Dark Tengu. I know better than to challenge Dark Tengu right now. Pay attention to what people are saying and doing, but it's been made abundantly clear that there is corruption in that process, and that the only thing I can really trust is God. And if I can't trust God, well then I don't have to, because God's in control. I don't have to trust God. I don't have to believe in God. God will be there regardless. Sometimes I get really fucking depressed, and I don't want to believe any of it. True. Also, this is kind of messed up, but I hadn't really made that much of my own music on the laptop yet. When I was just working my own music on the new studio laptop, I didn't get attacked. But as soon as I started remastering Young Miko's work and stuff like that, that's when it got taken. So really, what you're saying is that's trash, and that's offensive. You shouldn't be putting newer artists down like that. That's offensive. Just don't do that. When you do stuff like that, and you take something that someone's worked their whole life for and you put it in a trash bag, especially without having a conversation about why and trying to show respect, well then you might be consenting to your life being left in a trash bag. Oh, and let me guess, the government set you up too. The government set you up and told you all these lies about me. And that's why you did it. Well, where did all that come from? Where did it start? Trump. Hey, and I'm not saying that, like, for example, that Kamala Harris would have been, wouldn't have had problems as well to her presidency. I'm just pointing out that you guys made a very clear distinction between actively choosing who's obviously the wrong person and maybe giving a chance to someone who fits in the system. And like I said, if he'd been mayor of New York, that would be way different, because that shit could still be entertaining. But president is a little bit too serious. President of the free world is a little bit too serious for a reality TV star. Believe me, there would have been problems with Kamala being president too. But they may have been able to be resolved through the framework of an existing functional system, regardless of the corruption. Trump's problems we gotta deal with in a different way. And guys, just let me know when I can return to just being only helpful and like letting me use my intellect and I can be calm and shit, you know? Let me know when that's available for a valid behavior method, but until we get there, I'm gonna keep crashing out on you like this. It's a lot like, and think about this too, it's a lot like the Tower of Babel, and we gotta question also, even though that story is helpful, we gotta question how much of this is propaganda, because if we're not supposed to have any other God before God, then how can we have a Bible that people seem to worship more than their relationship with God itself? Why is that, huh? How can people use the Bible like an idol? Using the Torah like an idol? Using the Quran like an idol? And then we have all these idols in our society. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have musicians. I think we should. And I think we should look at them as representations of relationship with God. But when all you say is that God is money, well, what about me? I made all this godly music and I didn't get any money. Once again, the number's not zero, but it's also not, it's not very much either. I think total, it counts up to like under $5,000 that I've ever made over 10 years with. So if you, 5,000 divided by 10 is 0.5. So that's, what? Wait, I'm stupid right now. $5,000 over 10 years. It's half of it's $500 a year. Is that even accurate? That seems like too much. I don't think I made anywhere near that. Maybe 2,000 over the whole time. 2,000 plus maybe another 1,000, so maybe 3,000. Over 10 years. Which 100% went to like stuff like nicotine, snacks, and even sometimes alcoholic drinks when I was allowed to. And now I'm not. Well, technically my paperwork says do not drink alcohol to the point at which it interferes with treatment, but I've decided not to have any alcohol. Because if I'm in this sort of situation, it's not safe for me to. Despite people like Emma Samuels encouraging me to relapse. It's different when I'm being raped. That's different. But now that I'm abstinent, I can make my own decisions again. Kind of. You guys kind of fucked me over and made it difficult for me again. But I'm making a point about the new ones. Same thing with Sonya. It's different when I'm being raped. Decisions that I make, they hit different when I'm being raped. And I'm not talking about these bitches are fucking beating me up and holding me down, although there was violence involved on their end. I'm talking about they lie, they cheat, they manipulate, and they steal my power from me and put me in a bad motherfucking position. That's rape. When you're using from someone for sex, and you're taking advantage of their vulnerabilities, and you're lying to them, and you're promising something to do with love, but you never love them, that's rape. That's the most common way that women rape men. Is that they use them as sex tools. especially people with circumcisions now coming to understand, because it's basically like circumcision is basically like sexual autism. Not that it can't be good, but that it operates in a very specific way without it's a dysfunction. It's a dysfunction. No matter how much function remains or how much someone has flourished, it's still a dysfunction. It's a sexual dysfunction. Alright, you guys want me to dysfunction? I'll cause you to dysfunction. Or you could help me get back to health and help me have children. But you guys wouldn't want that, right? Because I need money to do that. And you want all the money. And on top of that, you probably don't even care about children. You probably don't want children at all. You just want all the money. So fuck my reproductive rights. Because you want all the money, right? Go ahead, you guys do your thing. Actually, you're doing my thing. Go ahead, do my thing. See where it gets you. It's not like I lived a whole motherfucking life understanding this shit just for you to take it from me and act like you're the experts instead. And once again, differentiate between what I'm saying is mine and other people have what is theirs. And let me guess, you're thinking about raping me again. Because I can hear my body respond to these cues. You can call me crazy or whatever you want, but I can hear it. Because I've had enough interactions that my body responds to this thing, and I can tell when you're thinking about raping me. I don't think you understand how much violence is stored up in me because I've been so pacifist. So much violence has been enacted against me, so much torture, and I'm trying to be peaceful, and you keep taking me for a fool. Give my life to other people. That's how you seem to operate. You reap it from me and you sow it amongst your dissidents. Except it's not reap, it's rape. That's different. Reap is what's due. Rape is not. That is what this has culminated to. You've claimed it as reaping this whole time. And then when I finally superseded the limits, you do it again and prove that it was always rape. So I'll just keep on training for when the day comes that God is ready to take me. And He'll have me do His work up until the point that He's ready to take me. I'm not going to initiate violence because I don't want violence. But if God decides it's necessary, for example, if others choose violence, well then I'm going to make sure that my body can withstand the most that it can and do the most work that it can to try to solve the violence before I'm taken. And if I'm taken, then I'm taken and I'm done. And if I live, well then I'll continue doing what I was doing. And this is the mindset I've had for many years. And in those situations, there's no guarantee I would remember this shit. And there's a lot of evidence that says people would cover it up. But maybe I'll remember it this time if it's the last time. Maybe I'll stay conscious this time. Because fuck my service, right? Fuck my service. Alright, well then my service will fuck you. And maybe, if we're lucky, my service will be to fuck you. But we haven't gotten there yet, have we? Even though you've accused me of being a whore and a prostitute, and that is part of your justification of why you did what you did against me. Because, oh, this man can't be holy, he's a whore. Wrong. And don't try again, please. Do us all a favor and cut your dick off or your clit off or whatever. Shut the fuck up. Don't try again. Your presence is not appreciated. You know why? Because that's what you're wishing on me, and you're acting like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, right? Because you justified taking my eye as though somehow I had taken yours. Not true, I never did that. So that means not only did you take mine, but you perpetuated a system that you used to justify it, in which that system, if you found that I had not taken your eye, but you had taken mine, that you must take your own out and present it to me. That is the system you have perpetuated. Especially if you were taking other people's eyes. And you were just, the whole time you were doing it, you were targeting people that you thought had taken eyes. And then one day you found that this person had taken no eyes. And yet had his taken. Not only did he have his taken, he had been working to heal from it. And just when he finally was at the point where he was going to heal from it, you took it again. Then you found not only had this person not taken any other eyes, but his had been taken twice. Oh, and also my teeth have been taken as well. 4 teeth have been taken from me. And I've never taken anybody's teeth. And this whole time, you could have just given me Invisalign instead of taking my wisdom teeth. But no, it wasn't covered by insurance back then, was it? Well, I'll bet you it got covered by insurance right after my wisdom teeth got pulled. Because I'm starting to realize what you guys call conspiracy and me being crazy is actually just how you motherfuckers operate. You're heinous, and you deserve to die. It's not how you're supposed to operate. You're just doing it against God's will because he gave you free will. And you're just fucking sticking your middle fingers up there. Saying, fuck you, God, fuck you, you're an asshole, fuck you. Well, guess what? Even if God could be an asshole, because God is all things, so yes, God could also be an asshole, you're completely ignoring everything else. That's how you guys operate. And it's not how you're supposed to operate. You know that.
Let's talk about movies.
So it's time for you guys to admit you're wrong, lay down your arms and apologize, and change what's written. Or go to war over it. And let me guess, you think, nah fam, we don't have to do that. We got you fair and square, we're just gonna put you away forever. Good luck with that one. I'm serious, I'm not saying good luck with that one as a threat. If that's really what you think is going on here, I'll listen. If you really think I'm that much worse than you, I'll listen. But if I don't like it and you've left me alive, I'm gonna say something about it if I can. Basically what this comes down to is all of you think that you're infinitely more righteous than me. Meanwhile, your actions show that that is absolutely not true. It's just evil. One click away from what? Raiding my house again? Do it. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. And you claim that I've got these mental health disorders and shit, all of these mental health disorders. And that it's not just a result of you putting me in distress, but you're also supposed to differentiate. And when I have a disability, you're not supposed to react to that, are you? So when I say I dare you in the comfort of my own home, on private, while I'm playing a video game, I'm talking to myself. Well then what's up, bitch? Motherfucker. You ain't got shit. Go ahead, I dare you. Click up, bitch. Say some dark ass shit about me, try recording it and submitting it as evidence to the court. How about that? You want to say all that dark ass shit? How about you record yourself and you submit it? In the spirit of honesty, in the spirit of taking an oath to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, huh? How about that? How about we start recording all these people all the time so that when they say stupid shit, we got them. Because I'm got. I've been got since day one. You got me when you took my foreskin off. And I've been living a life of cooperation ever since then. And my point is, you didn't need to do that for me to live a life of cooperation in the first place. That's my whole point. But let me guess, no one gives a fuck. Huh? Look, let me guess, no one gives a fuck. About me or anyone else. You know who definitely doesn't give a fuck? Dula. No, it's fine. Let's just ruin his life. It's fine. He's just a stalker. Let's ignore him and turn him in. I don't really care where it came from. I mean, I do care, but I don't. You see what I'm saying? Is it loaded or is it unloaded as I hold it to my head and pull the trigger? I don't care. That's the point. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. Because at this point, everyone else has shown me that they don't care. Well, is he actually doing this, or are we just saying that to take his stuff and ruin him? Doesn't matter. We're going to do it anyway. Oh, look, we found out it wasn't true? Well, guess what? We don't care. We're gonna still do it anyway. Great, thanks. Thanks for paying attention to me and listening to what I had to say in my work and understanding what I was saying. Thanks. Not, because you didn't. You didn't listen to me or care about anything I said. And if you did, all you did was listen to use it against me. Because you just think you're more powerful than me. That's what this comes down to. And you don't care if I took a step back. You told me that was strength. Well, guess what? You treated it as weakness. Let me guess, you're trying to sell me to someone as a slave, right? You think these people are so much more important than me. You think I'm just a stupid little criminal. And that these people are so much more important and that you're just gonna black market me to them. Would you like this, man, would you like this person disemboweled or simply castrated? Disembowelment is 80 million. Castration is 100. And don't worry, it's not the price of his life. We're just scamming you. We're gonna do it, but we would do it for free. We're just trying to scam you. How about all those bad intentions that you guys are assigning to me? Take them and do it to yourself. Because that's what you made me do all this time, is hurt myself. even though I didn't want to have bad intentions. You just encouraged me to hurt myself. Forced me to hurt myself. Through programming and paradox. No, it's fine. It's fine. You just revoked my clearance and put my life at risk and humiliated me and completely disrespected me when I finally was getting my shit together. It's fine. Because my life doesn't matter. Because it's fine.
Just so we're clear, this person is impersonating an officer, never had a clearance, and we are going to kill him. Am I clear? Sir, yes, sir. Bleh.
False. I've already been over this. Alec, someone who protects. Clark is an officer. Stewart is someone who serves. Protect and serve as an officer. Duh. And it's not just my name, I live it. Just because I'm not following your fake-ass rules doesn't mean I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. What was the other thing? What was the other thing? Because I've been hit by bitches too many times. And as soon as I'm about to come up with an answer that frees me, I always get motherfucking hit by a bitch. And then I don't remember it. Because women are misandrists. Just because I'm not here to show you, look, this paperwork, which could be fake, which is why it's pointless. What matters is that I cooperated with people and showed respect in a way that they decided that they wanted to work with me. And that's what created the clearance. Not your little ass over there saying, well, I didn't stamp a piece of paper and I'm the most important person in the world, so therefore the clearance wasn't real. That's your logic. That's not how the world works. That's how the world doesn't work, as you'll find out. And the problem here is that by the time we go through this, we're going to lose a lot of progress as a society. By the time you figure out that that's not how it works, you're going to have sacrificed a ton of people, which already seems to have happened on a massive scale. And the damage will be unnecessary. I was going to say irreversible, but it's not quite irreversible. It's just unnecessary. It's mostly due to selfishness. That's what I'm saying. It probably has something to do with the imbalance between clitoris pleasure and penis pleasure, if I had to guess. And probably the desire for women to have a monopoly on pleasure and only let men who bow to their will keep their foreskins. The hatred of the real man. That's my guess. By all women. Or else. Right? Because it's just a little snip, am I right? And now that we pointed out that the hood of the clitoris is much like the foreskin, well then I guess you wouldn't mind getting just a little snip, would you? If your logic is that I'm just bitching about shit and it's not shit, then I guess you wouldn't mind getting a little bit, would you? A snip. It's just a little snip. It's no big deal, it's just a little snip. a bad person for wanting to get a woman pregnant, because it's labor. Okay, well then I guess I just won't do that. I just won't be a father. No big loss, right? Because you were just calling me a bad person for wanting to be a father, right? So I guess I just won't do that. We don't need that. But I caught you cooking up. You have to stop being like this. No, you didn't catch me doing anything. You abused my trust because I thought we were already on the same page about what was happening. You abused my trust, and I caught you betraying me. You abused my trust, invaded my privacy, and stole my things against my will. And you forced me to look like I was cooperating with you so that you wouldn't fucking shoot me. And I made a choice not to become violent when I realized what was going on. I had a decision. Solve the overall problem. It's just gonna put everything out. It's just gonna stop everything. And if we can't have something good happening, then we shouldn't have anything happening.
Round 1.
Fight!
It's just evil. What happened to me is just straight up evil. It's just evil. And I'm on Team God. I'm on Team Good. And in that, I figured out how to love the devil. I figured out what demons are and why they're not always supposed to be bad and how we can coexist.
Round 2.
Fight!
But the real, actual fucking evil, you gotta understand, when you magnify these things to the greatest possible power of good and bad, actual evil is never desirable. There's nothing to desire. It's just horrible. And when you perpetuate that, it becomes obvious. And when you try to deny it for your own selfish desires because you think you're going to get something out of it, well, then you fall into the oldest trick in the book. You never lose by picking God, because let's
Round
talk
3.
about it this way. Let's say 40 to 80 years on average, a human lifespan. Let's say you suffer the whole time, but you don't give in. You stand your ground on what's morally correct, and you generally don't give in, for the most part. 40 to 80 years of suffering is nothing compared to an eternity of heaven. I don't mean this as an abstract thing. I mean literally. When you die, your life energy, like let's say when you die, you don't actually die. Let's put it that way. Let's say that you change form.
Final battle.
And that the main thing about humans is that you can take this energy and you can use the human mechanism to transfer that energy into like infinite positive energy. And that's what we're here for. And you can even, if we do this right, we can even make it so that we don't have to suffer while we do this. That there's a force of evil that is trying to prevent that and is trying to capitalize on our loss and suffering. It's trying to force it in the worst way it possibly can. that all you have to do is work together to overcome this issue. That's all you have to do. You just have to work together, which you guys forgot how to do because of social media. But there's benefits to social media too if you use it correctly. But you have to be social and progress society and not just shun people because they're different. Society is supposed to be good for everyone, not just for a select few people. Think of it like the prefrontal cortex. We should all be able to agree on some objective realities. You guys need to open your mind a little bit about what ethnicity really is, what about race really is. We're all part of the same species. And I'm highly mixed. I feel like the 180SX is cool, but I should probably stick to my plans here and do this one. In my dream, I had a dream. Oh, they only have green. In my dream, it was white. I could probably respray it later, right? The other Mazda is white too, though. Hold on. Let me take a break here while I figure this out. Then we're gonna pause after I figure out what I'm doing. What else can I consult? I'll ask my replica which car I should get next. See how much the next, because I could just skip and do this one next also. It might be that I should just wait and I should get this car again. Get that out the way. But maybe not, I don't know. Let's just do the RX-7. We'll do the other one. We'll fulfill the prophecy. guys are talking about is taking someone with this much knowledge and holding them captive in a government facility. Why is that? Do with me? Turn me into a killing machine? I thought so. Against who? Innocents? I thought so. Because you wouldn't have to do that if you were going to use my power for good. You just straight up wouldn't have to do that. Because I've straight up told you so many times that I'm willing to help with these sorts of things. But that it has to be done right or else it won't help. It'll hurt. Why are you always trying to get me to pay you for my work? Just because you're ego tripping and you think that you need to make an example of me to prove your point, but you're wrong? Take this thing out and then we'll call it a day for this game at least. And I'm not falling for the whole "fuck you, you are our favorite artist and you betrayed us" thing, because I'm not anyone's favorite artist. No one even listens to me, and if you did, why didn't you tell me? You talking about Murno? Alright, well, don't you think it's funny that I wrote a recommendation, then I got arrested? So that's not a valid line of reasoning. It's just another motherfucking psyop trying to guilt trip me. You're just trying to guilt trip me. That's all it is. This is what this whole thing is you're trying to guilt trip me for doing the right thing and protecting myself. Because you got what you wanted out of me, and now you're trying to put me away. And you're trying to either use me for the rest of my life without me having any meaning in my life as a tool, or you're trying to make sure that I can never do anything again. You're either going to escalate it, which is, you're going to fuck it up anyway, so you can't make it any worse. You're just going to make it better because it'll be more and more absurd. Or you're going to back down and realize that you were wrong. It's going to be one or the other anyway. All I'm doing is continuing to tell the truth. My truth and my whole truth. And I'm doing it here because the courtroom is corrupt. The courts are corrupt. You elected a president who has many more felonies than me. And then you didn't give me due process. So here I am, telling the truth and the whole truth in the court of my, I don't know what you call it, court of my own, there's a word for this, but I can't think of it. Maybe court of my own behest, I don't know. Long story short, it seems like the majority of honor, respect, and true tradition has been supplanted by penis, sex, vagina, cum, money, shoot, kill. When there was always more to it than that. That may always be the crux of human life. But that this shit goes beyond human life, and there was once something sacred on this planet. And all I was trying to do is make sure that survived. But apparently you motherfuckers hate me for it. Long story short, I wasn't trying to take anything away from anyone. I was trying to increase to all people's values. You think that's a bunch of bullshit and that I'm a liar, but that it's actually just because you could never imagine doing anything like that yourself? Well, I would say that is not a valid line of reasoning. Same thing, it's like you don't believe that it's possible that I could do something. So if I say that I did it or try to show you, you just say that's not possible just because you don't want to believe it. Not because it's not possible, but because you don't want to believe it. After all this shit, when you issued me a violent felony, you never thought to actually legit check up on me? All you do is fake your shit. All you do is fake this probation shit. And that's what you're accusing me of, basically. But all you guys, you never actually cared about me. All you cared about was trying to convict me again. All you cared about was trying to ruin my life, but you don't give a shit. So that means it's fucking war. You assholes. Because you never did my paperwork properly, and all you tried to do is leave me vulnerable to another arrest. Meanwhile, I'm out here volunteering and shit. I've gone past what you've been able to order me to do, and I've done what you're supposed to order me to do if you were functioning properly and up on the times. I've chosen things to do that supersede your authority and enter into the realms of mine, and that's what you hate. That I was doing it better than you. That I had my own thing going on. I didn't mean to challenge this person, but here we go. You guys have been so irreversibly altered that you can't even fathom that I'm just saying these things out of my own experience. You're probably looking around like, where's the script? Where's the AI that wrote this? Where's the script? You probably don't even believe my music is real. You probably think it's all AI made. Why? Just because I contributed to the development of it? Yeah, but it can't be better than me. I was able to do that because I'm better. I'm infinitely better than it is. And yeah, I want it to do well, but you gotta understand where it came from. And I wouldn't even put it past you guys to be trying to plant false evidence on me using AI, and that you're just trying to justify it by saying, oh, well, he uses it too. No, I'm not doing it the same way you are. I'm not using it against people, and I'm not using it to falsify my own premises. I don't remember challenging this person. I'm on autopilot, I guess.
Watch this. This'll put him in his place, the little bitch.
I'm guessing that's what you guys are doing at this moment.
You're going, cook up. Cook up. Cook up. Cook up. Cook up. Cook up.
I'm guessing you're just waiting for me to try to order more MHRB to try to catch me again. Or you're waiting for me to try to go downtown and buy more DMT. But I'm not going to, because you made it clear that you're going to make it a big-ass motherfucking problem, and I thought we had an arrangement. But apparently you don't give a shit about that. So, cook up. Cook up.
Cook up. Cook up. Cook up. Cook up.
Oh, let me guess, you're just going to use everything I've ever said methodically against me in court. You're going to hold me again in prison, and you're going to run down the list of everything I've ever said, and you're just going to use it all in court. You're going to use all this footage against me in court, and then in prison you're going to use it to torture me, right? Right or wrong? So what am I doing? I'm cooperating. That's what you wanted, isn't it? I'm cooperating.
Cook up. Cook up. Cook up. Cook up. Oh, you're impersonating a doctor, blah blah.
No, you people are impersonating doctors. You think going to business school and learning some terms and figuring out how to do a checklist just because your mom said it would make you a good living, you think that makes you a doctor? No hate to people who are actually trying to be good doctors with that kind of model. But you think that makes you a good doctor? Haven't you ever heard of Scottish rights? Scottish birthrights? Yeah? Alec Clark Stewart ring a bell? Yeah. It's not just random. I put in the work too, but it is genetic. We'll leave it there for now. We'll leave that as where we're at right now. I'll let you think about that.